We enclosed our back porch several years ago. The home that we bought when we moved into Amarillo had this beautiful back porch, and we loved it. What we did not know, since I only grew up in Wichita Falls, where it is hotter and more tornadoes, but Amarillo definitely has the upper hand on flies and wind and dust. We found that that back porch was fairly unusable most of the time because it was either with 3 million flies, a layer of dust, or it was too cold, so we enclosed it. It had a built-in fireplace, and that was wonderful, but I also learned a very valuable lesson that I learned partly from the folks at the fireplace store, because I went there the day after the event I'm about to describe happened. We awakened at 2:30 in the morning, and I learned the effects of what happens when a northern blows in and you get the cold flu effect and you leave your fireplace doors open. We didn't have fireplace doors, so there was nothing to close. At 2:30 in the morning, we wake up, we turn on the lights, and the house, on the one hand, smells like pinon wood, which is kind of nice, except that you can also see the pinon ash in the entire house. Yeah. Shortly thereafter, I ordered glass doors for the fireplace. You ever been camping before? You sit downwind, the smoke's there. You smell like smoke. Whenever something like that happens, then you're around a fire, it's hard to get that smell out. And this last word of the text is not even the smell of fire was on them. And that's usually where we point to things. We say, this is amazing. This is an Old Testament miracle. They weren't consumed by the fire. That's fantastic. And I'd say, yeah, that's good. But there's a greater miracle that happens in this text. And it's in the 16th verse. It's what I want to focus on in talking to those of you who are on the front row in caps and gowns. The greatest word that is there is the words of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I think it's the most important part of this text, because it's there that you find these three Hebrews who say, we are not going to bow, and even if our God does not deliver us, we still will not bow. My friends, that's faith. That's the real kind of faith. It doesn't matter what the consequences are. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. You don't determine your faith in God based on how it goes for you. You determine your faith in God and you give it your full effort. And no matter what happens, it doesn't change your faith in Christ, your belief in God. There's 4 C's that are going to guide you in your journey. The first and most important word to you is courage. Courage is the moral strength to withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. You need to have courage as you walk into your freshman year, or as you do pre-work, as you do those orientation classes. You need to have courage that is rooted in knowing that you have been prepared by God for what lies ahead of you. And take courage that your strength is not just your own. And recognize that everybody in this sanctuary has felt the same thing. It's the same emotion that you felt when you were in first grade and you went to the lunchroom for the very first time. And your overwhelming concern was not the quality of the food in your lunch pail or on the lunch tray. It was, who am I going to sit with? You're going to get to college, and you're going to need to have courage to remain resilient and strong with what you have been taught, no matter who you're invited to sit with. And there will be some very sexy clothed Nebuchadnezzars inviting you to sit with them. They're going to sound really good. Find courage to stay true to who you are. Secondly, hold on to your convictions. Conviction is a firm belief, a firmly held belief. Remember that the conviction that you have is what you believe in. And you're going to be challenged in many ways, and people will bring up ideas. Don't kneel too quickly. Don't give up that conviction. Don't kneel too quickly. You don't have to hand an answer for everybody. You're going to meet some upperclassmen. You're going to meet some professors. You're going to meet some people who are going to say to you, you don't really believe that, do you? Now listen closely. When someone looks at you as a professor or a percept person or your moderator, your class, when they look at you and they say, you don't really believe that, do you? What they're doing is they're sort of inviting you into a way saying, I don't think you're right. I don't think you're smart enough. Don't take the bait. Simply return, and I want you to call me or email me when this happens, because it will happen. Ryan, you don't really believe that, do you? And then, Ryan, I want you to look at that person in the eye and say, can I ask why you say it that way? Do you see what we've done? Hang on to your convictions. You can have plenty of conversations, but you don't have to defend everything from your first day in class. Invite people to tell you where they're from. Use that information to form what you believe, but hold on to those firmly held convictions that you have. The third thing is commitment. When the statue is brought by, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego don't kneel before the statue. Now, history says it was a big bronze statue. But I want you to let me have a little bit of latitude and freedom with this. Maybe if we were to look at today, you're not going to be tempted to be bound and thrown into a fiery furnace. I want to suggest to you that probably every one of you is going to experience this within the first week of your being at a college campus when there's no one there to wake you up or tell you what to do. All right? And remember, at the end of the 5th day, you will be doing your own laundry. Okay? You're going to be invited by some people to do some things. And when those invitations come, remember this text. When everybody else was kneeling and bowing before the bronze statue, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego could have said, well, it's not a big deal. We can still hang on to our dietary laws. It's not going to matter much if I just kneel a little bit here in front of the bronze statue, is it? I mean, it's not that big a deal. But what will happen is, as you trade out your convictions and your commitment to Christ and your courage to be faithful to God, you'll let other things take root in your life. And I want to suggest to you this simple phrase. You will see a metal statue that your peers will ask you to bow before. It's called a keg. If anyone needs more information about that, Freddie and Wes will fill you in. My guess is by the look on your faces, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So my latitude in this is, out comes not the bronze statue, but the steel keg, and you're asked to kneel before the steel keg, right? Let me tell you something. I have never seen anything good come out of succumbing to the peer pressure to drink alcohol with your friends. Okay? Here's why. They need you to conform to them. That's why they're saying to you, and they will use the following arguments, Alex. Well, look, man, it's no big deal. Mom and Dad ain't here. Man, you're in college now, dude. Kick it back. It's all right. No one's going to be on your case judging you. And you're going to look around. And in your head, you're going to look around and you're going to hear those words of Trace Atkins, red solo cup, I lift you up. And you're going to think it's okay. Because what you're going to be thinking about is, I don't want to be the one on the outside, right? I want to fit in. Did Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego worry about fitting in? They didn't. They worried about being faithful to God who called them. And that's what every one of you are going to face. Whether it's with alcohol or decisions or other things you're going to face and you have already faced, you need to remember this simple concept. You can choose your actions. You do not get to choose your consequences. Here's how this works. Cameron, come on, buddy. I'm ready for you. Come on. I'm going to have a little bit of help today because, as Kevin and those in the choir will know in a moment, Cameron has the perfect sort of illustration for me. I'm going to put you right up here, Cameron, so everybody can see. When I was graduating from high school, I'm inviting Cameron up because Cameron's going to help me show you what was really cool back in the day when I was in school. You're the only one that gets to sit up here, okay? You good? Put your foot up here. Get comfortable. Get those feet out there. You know what you're wearing today? Chuck Taylors. Red Converse. When I was in high school and I was going to graduate like them, my mom told me I couldn't wear my Chuck Taylors that were red to the graduation. And there was a friend of mine named J.W. Oliver. And since he was the last of the O's and I was the first of the P's, we sat together. We were told by both our mothers we were told by the principal, the vice principal, and several counselors, do not wear your red Converse to graduation. You look very handsome in them, by the way, today. You really do. But my mom, do you see like a cool shoe? She didn't want me wearing my red Converse in front of everybody. So I didn't wear them. Do you remember what I said? They said, don't wear them to the graduation. So I didn't wear them to the graduation. JW and I stuffed them in the back of our shirts and up on our pants in the back. And when we got seated in the auditorium and no one was looking, we kicked off our shoes and we put on our red Chuck Taylor Converse. Do you think my mom was happy? No, she wasn't. And I walked across, and the principal had that little piece of cardboard rolled up in it. I saw him say something to JW. JW just laughed and kept walking, because that's my buddy. He's an O, right? LMNOP, so guess who's next to me? I walk up, and they put your degree in a piece of cardboard like this, like a paper towel roll. And the principal took it, and he handed it to me. You know what he said to me? What? There's nothing in here. Because he knew I was going to wear my red Chuck Taylors to graduation. You know what I had to do? I had to mop the high school at Wichita Falls and sweep for 3 full days. Then I got my diploma. And that, my friends, is called consequences. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you, Cameron. Head on back. I love his run, too. I want you all to leave church that way. Christ is the most important thing to you. You've got to be a person of courage, commitment, and conviction, and you've got to stay committed to Christ. You cannot choose, you can choose your actions. You do not get to choose your consequences. I made lots of decisions in my life. And at times when I'm faced with a decision whether I should do what those people around me and the wisdom and I know what is right to do or not, well, I've times made the right decision, but I've rarely made a really bad decision, because what I've done is I've gone back to that moment and remembered the consequences and what it felt like for 3 consecutive days after graduation in a non-air-conditioned school in Wichita Falls, Texas, to sweep, to mop, and to carry out the trash. And that is still with me all these years later. Don't bow to the king of beers when you go to college. Only bow to the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. And when the world around you says, come on, do what everybody else is, let that be your first clue. Don't do it. Be true to who you are. Because the reality is you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to get a unique gift today. You're going to have to make a decision about who Christ is to you, because every person does. Lindy's going to sing a song, and as she sings this song in a moment, it's both a way of us being able to express our appreciation to her and also a way of giving you all a gift about deciding who Christ is to you. I remember arriving more than 6 years ago and looking over and seeing Lindy in the corner. Quit scooting back. Get up here. This is about you. It's been a joy for all of us to watch Lindy, who was here as just a part of the choir, to grow, to be married, to become a mother. She moves on to the University of North Texas in Denton to work on her doctorate degree. And we are extremely proud of her for that. So first, express your appreciation to Lindy for her years of being with us. And if you'll notice in the bulletin, Becky and Lindy are going to sing for you a song called More Than Wonderful. It really applies to all of us in this journey. Do we have commitment, conviction, courage, and will we stay faithful to Christ? For you all, it's a particularly unique season in your life. Just answer this simple question, this song. Who do you say that Jesus is? And who is he to you?